My mother-in-law encouraged my wife to betray me. Now she's left alone with regret and everything destroyed. I met Emily when we were both in our 20s. She had this magnetic charm that made everyone feel comfortable around her. Her smile was infectious, and the way she laughed was enough to make even the most stressful days seem bearable. From the moment we started dating, I knew I had found something special. We were perfect for each other, or at least that's what I thought at the time. Our relationship was solid, and after 2 years of being together, we decided to get married. Everything seemed to fall into place effortlessly. Emily was beautiful, caring, and full of life, and I couldn't wait to build a future with her. But I had no idea that lurking just beneath the surface was a storm that would come from a place I never imagined. Her mother, Diane. In the beginning, Diane seemed like the picture of a supportive mother. She welcomed me into the family with open arms, often showering me with compliments and making me feel like I was a part of something bigger. I respected her. She was protective of Emily, just like any mother would be, and I figured I'd always have her support. Little did I know, things weren't as simple as they appeared. It started with small things. Emily would talk to her mom about the smallest of decisions, from what color to paint the walls to what kind of food we should order for dinner. At first I thought nothing of it. It was normal for a mother and daughter to share opinions, right? But as time went on, I noticed that it wasn't just trivial stuff that Emily was turning to her mom for advice about. It was our relationship. Whenever Emily and I had a disagreement, no matter how minor, Diane's voice would echo in her head. It wasn't long before I started feeling like a third wheel in my own marriage. One evening, Emily and I were sitting down to discuss some future plans. We were debating whether to buy a house in the city or move to a quieter neighborhood. It was one of those conversations that you expect to go smoothly, but it didn't. Emily was more hesitant than usual, and I couldn't understand why. I suggested a few options, and she shot them down almost immediately. "Emily, what's going on?" I asked, confused by her reaction. "We've been talking about this for months. Why are you acting like it's such a big deal now?" She hesitated for a moment before picking up her phone. "It's just that, well, Mom thinks we should hold off. She says it's too soon and that we should wait another year before making such a big commitment." I felt a chill in my chest. "Wait, we've been talking about this for months. We're ready. Why does your mom think she knows better?" Emily looked uncomfortable. "I don't know. She just thinks we should wait a little longer before we make such a big decision." I was stunned. Diane wasn't even in the room, but her influence was felt as if she was sitting right between us. I tried to shake it off, but I couldn't ignore the feeling that something wasn't right. Over the following weeks, I started noticing more and more how often Diane's opinions shaped Emily's decisions. It wasn't just the house, it was everything. Small decisions, big decisions, even how Emily thought about me. Diane's voice was always there, subtly undermining my place in Emily's life. The more I tried to address it, the more Emily seemed defensive. "You're just being paranoid," she'd say. "Mom is just trying to help. She wants what's best for us." But the tension kept growing. Diane's opinions, once harmless, had started to feel like commands. Every time I disagreed with something, Emily would go straight to her mother for approval. It was as though Diane had become a constant presence in our marriage, one that I had no control over. Then everything exploded one night. It was a small argument, one of those trivial things that shouldn't have mattered. We were talking about finances, who was paying what, where our money was going, and whether we needed to cut back on certain expenses. It wasn't a big deal. But Emily snapped. She told me I was controlling, that I never let her do what she wanted, that I was always too focused on the numbers and never thought about what she needed. I was taken aback. I thought we were a team. We had always communicated openly about finances, and now out of nowhere, she was accusing me of being controlling. Before I could even respond, Emily grabbed her phone and dialed her mom's number. I stood there, stunned while she spoke to Diane in hushed tones, her voice trembling with emotion. The next day, everything felt different. Emily was distant, cold even. When I tried to talk to her about it, she dismissed me. She wouldn't engage. It was as though the warmth I had once loved about her had disappeared. I didn't know what had happened overnight, but I could feel the space between us growing wider and wider. It wasn't until a few weeks later that I learned the truth. Emily came to me one evening looking broken. Her eyes were red from crying, and she seemed utterly defeated. I braced myself for whatever she had to say, but I wasn't prepared for the weight of her words. "I need to tell you something," she whispered, her voice shaky. "Emily, what's wrong?" I asked, feeling a tightness in my chest. "I've been listening to Mom," she admitted, her voice trembling. "She's been telling me things about you, things I didn't want to believe, but now I don't know anymore." My heart sank. "What things? What has she been saying?" "She told me you don't appreciate me, that you're not really the man I need, that I deserve more. She made me feel like I've been settling for you, that maybe I could find someone who would really value me. I started to believe her, and that's when I started talking to Mark." I felt the ground slip from beneath me. Mark. The name hit me like a ton of bricks. Mark was someone from Emily's past. She had known him before we met. According to Diane, he was the kind of man who would give Emily the excitement and attention she deserved, someone who wouldn't hold her back. "Like I did. You've been talking to him. Behind my back?" I choked out, struggling to understand what I was hearing. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said, her voice breaking. "But I let Mom's words get to me. I thought maybe she was right, and now I'm so lost. I don't know what to do." The pain I felt in that moment was suffocating. It wasn't just the affair, it wasn't just the betrayal of trust. It was the realization that Diane, her own mother, had planted seeds of doubt in Emily's mind, convincing her that I wasn't enough. And Emily had listened. We tried to work through it, but the damage had been done. Trust, once the foundation of our relationship, was gone. Every conversation, every glance between us felt like a reminder of the wreckage that had been caused by someone we both should have been able to rely on. It didn't take long for Emily's relationship with Mark to falter. Excitement couldn't fill the void she felt, and when she realized that Diane's manipulation had driven a wedge between us, it was already too late. Months went by, and Emily's life unraveled in ways I never expected. She reached out to Diane, hoping for some kind of comfort or reassurance, but Diane was cold, distant. She had already moved on, weaving her influence into another relationship. Emily was left alone, consumed by regret and the weight of the choices she had made. I, on the other hand, was finding peace. I learned that sometimes, no matter how much you love someone, outside influences can tear apart what you've built. I couldn't stay in a relationship where I wasn't respected, where someone, especially a mother-in-law, had more control than the person I had pledged my life to. And Emily? She was left alone, with nothing but the pieces of a life she had destroyed. Diane, the one who had promised to protect her, had only driven her to ruin everything she had. Now Emily was forced to live with the consequences of her own actions, and the regret that followed was unbearable. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories.